The OG Sebastian, Christopher Reeves, my Superman, I'm sure your Superman, every millennial Superman would have been 69 years old on Saturday. Such a shame. Gabby Petito, Nicole Brown Simpson, Christopher Reeves. Who pushed him off that fucking cliff? Who killed Superman? I'm never gonna know. Horses, not a good look though. The polo horses. Now horses in the media today down at the border. It just looks like we're whipping people like it's plantation times. Not a great look. I could see some sort of like eminent domain thing from AOC being pushed. Like all borderland ranchers give up like 20% of their acreage to create like horse farms for illegal immigrants so they can pursue the American dream, some sort of like forgiveness, like we're sorry you weren't, reparations for not being born in America. Sorry you were born in Honduras. Let's teach you how to play polo and give you a horse from this person. I don't know. This episode of the BenBen Show is brought to you by Amanda Knox's new New York Times bestseller, If I Did It. Foxy Moxie, looking seductive and calculating as usual on the Joe Rogan podcast the other day. Amanda, we look forward to having you on the podcast next week to talk about your upcoming project, Sex, Satan, and Saffron, Pasta and Perugia. Really is looking good. I mean, I listened to the whole podcast. There is something about the way she talks that's like, it's almost like, I don't know what it is. There's something cold about the way she talks. Like, well, I don't want to spoil it for next week. We should probably save. I guess I can't say this to her face. It makes more sense to say this behind her back. So, I think it would be better if the book was I Did It. That would be good. Because then what are the repercussions? You can't go back to Italy? They're going to retry you? I don't think that they can, just because you admit to it after the fact. That would be better. Don't copy OJ. Just go, I did it. It's almost like, what if her sense of self protects, like, her ego? And she's her, like, persona, and so she comes across as, like, some people just she doesn't break down. It seems like there's something, like, there that's, like, she has a part of herself that's very protective. I don't know. She doesn't seem, I don't know. I hope she got all those pictures of my penis that I sent her when she was in prison. I hope those comforted her in those dark nights alone in her cell, knowing that I was here for her, me and Leviathan. In case you haven't been watching, it's even my penis. And I hope she wasn't offended. I was just trying to show my support. I was young at the time. This was years ago. I didn't realize that that act is, some people don't like that. I didn't know. Amanda, I'm sorry. Thank you for coming on the show. I'll apologize to you formally next week. We're also brought to you by the Porsche Panamera. It's not a station wagon. It's a Porsche. Now available with exterior wood paneling in the Griswold Family Truckster Edition. I don't want to lose a sponsor, but how the fuck do they get off saying that's a Porsche? The first question you ask is like, does it have room for groceries? Already, we shouldn't be talking about a Porsche. It's we're gonna lose him, Sebastian. It's just it's the biggest crock of shit. It's like we make this car, but we lose a segment of customers. Let's make a car for them. Like it's like Bentley coming out with the SUV. It's like it's just a monstrosity. It's like if Bentley were like in general, I think it's more elegant to have a station wagon. Just the look of it, these giant cars, like for Bentley to copy everyone else and make like an SUV, an elevated car that has a heavy train and drive. Like it's so weird. The bigger cars that are cool are the ones that look like military vehicles, like the G-Wagon and stuff like that, or like the old Lamborghini, not the Lamborghini SUV you see today, but the old one that is like armored or like looks like a military truck. When you go SUV on like the high end and it looks like a Toyota 4Runner or a Toyota Land Cruiser, that does not look cool. Like that's a $400,000 car and it looks just like this car that's $70,000. It's like what? Like I don't know, who are you kidding? Disposable income or not, I don't like the Bentley one. And the Porsche Panamera, like you can go buy one, like a used one, for like under 30 grand. They don't hold their value because people are realizing as you get older, oh my god, it's a station wagon. What the fuck was I thinking? Not a Porsche. They tricked you. Speaking of trick or treat, Halloween is coming up. You probably noticed decorations lining the halls of your local grocery store sometime in July. Never be too early. A reminder to all parents, Halloween really is just a litmus test to see how they handle their child's more adult addictions later down the line. Sugar is just a primer for alcoholism and cocaine. Sorry, rehab's expensive. Save up now. A haunted house actor, very sad story here, in Berea, Ohio, stabs an 11-year-old boy who was just there with his mom to say, hey, let's have some fun. Let's trick or treat. He picked the wrong option. He got tricked. Told the actor, I'm not afraid of that knife. It's not real. The actor then proceeded to stab the boy in the foot. Literally, that's exactly what happened. That knife isn't real. I'm not afraid, which is great parenting, of course, not really, because now the child has the best, like parents in the world to say, listen, you don't be afraid of anything. All this is make-believe. But now the trust is broken. This kid had the right mindset, and now he's developed a nugget of distrust that's going to like grow into something as he gets older. Some psychological problem. He's completely fucked. He doesn't realize it's going to grow into something about like, I can't trust authority figures. Maybe he like drops out of college because he's like, no, fuck the man. It just builds into something all because his parents said, monsters aren't real. You can't get hurt at this haunted house. And he was stabbed. I remember like, I love haunted houses. I think there's something about like taking a girl that you like to a haunted house is just, there's something about like it's a aphrodisiac. It's almost like a date rape drug. Like haunted houses, Rohypnol, GHB, they're the same thing. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's not what I've done. What am I saying? I feel like it is though. No, some things like guys do that are kind of like unwritten, like, guys are guys and they're kind of like horny. It's just the way they are. I've never done this with someone not in a relationship, so it's not a date rape drug from my experience, but I can see how it is. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I talk, I'm just like talking. I'm like, what, do you realize what you're saying right now? You sound like a fucking. No, I'm not. Girlfriends, girls I've been in long-term relationships with for years, would take them to haunted houses at times. October, nice cold weather. It's like, oh, this is fantastic. Crisp. Afterwards, have a nice dinner. Go drive to the country or some bullshit. It's nice. Love it. Great time. It's something very simple. When I was a kid, there was a haunted house in Maryland. Fancy. That was neat, cool, awesome. At the end of the haunted house, you think it was over because you'd walk right out into like a garden. The end of the haunted house is like a tunnel, and the tunnel led into another like part of the outside portion of the whole like theatrics. It was like a hedge maze, and a guy, once you think you're done, runs after you and like Leather Mask? That's the chainsaw guy, Leatherface. He ran after me, and he had a chainsaw. And me not realizing, like, oh, well, a chainsaw, like, what's the difference between the chainsaw sound without the chain or with the chain? I don't know if there is, but, like, to me, it was just like, oh my god, there's a chainsaw. Technically, that guy could, like, hurt me and not intend to. Like, I was analytical about it as a kid when I was, like, 5 or 6. I run for my life, and then I in a full sprint, I, like, dive down as he like, gains on me. And I'm already tall. Like, I was always tall. And he's gaining on me. I duck down because I know he's right behind me with the chainsaw. I can hear it. And I skin my knees, like rip the flesh off on the gravel. And the guy he like knows that like I hurt myself. I'm like a little kid. He feels so bad. He pats me on the back. He's like, I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay. I'm like, it's all right. Anyway, I love I didn't cry or anything. I was just like, whoops. Yeah, this is fake. Well, it's not necessarily fake. It might have been real. That might have been a real chainsaw. Like all chainsaws, from my perspective at the time, they might hurt people. Like he could be a competent idiot with a chainsaw. He could be a legitimate person that likes to kill kids that got a job at the haunted house. And they haven't caught him yet, and he was looking for the right guy to kill. And it was me, because I'm tall. And he's like, I like to kill tall kids because I'm 5'11", and that kid's 5'10", but he's 5, so I know he's gonna be a lot taller. He's gonna take the girls that I would have gotten that, you know, the guys that were taller at school got, and it really upsets me, so I'm gonna cut off his head. You know, cut him down to size. Permanently. Something like that. I think of all crazy things all the time. It's weird, but like since I was a kid, I would like freak myself out with these hypotheticals. Some of my stand-up comedy stuff I've done in the past is like surrealist takes. Like weird surrealist takes. Doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes, but it's goofy. Anyway, I love haunted houses. I'm excited for Halloween. I think I'm going to be, I'm not going to tell you. I might use it as a bit. I have some ideas though. Maybe something the vampire, you know, Bella. Something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, have you seen this video? This video is really, really good. A 74-year-old grandmother being airlifted to a hospital after being injured on a hike in Arizona. Just gotta like watch this thing here. I'll play the ads. I hate the ads. It was just like, it ruins the flow. Boom. Okay, there we go. They're being airlifted right now. It doesn't look. It's not horrible. It's not horrible. It's like, oh, that's not good. It's not good. This is weird. Why is she spinning? Is this always happen? Like, obviously, it doesn't happen all the time with helicopters. Like the propellers don't do this. All right, we dropped her down, bring her back up. Really close. We almost got her. It's weird. Like, what is going on? Like, why don't they just, isn't it like a thing that's like lifting her up like through like a pulley system? Like, what is? Okay, like poor grandma, 74-year-old grandma right now. What the fuck? Why is that happening? Oh my god. Jesus. They drop her back down. They're like, oh fuck, look how fat, oh my grandma. Oh my god, it's like another helicopter. Like they could drop her and she might like stay in the air, like going like, oh my god. She's injured. Look at this shit. Oh my god. Jesus. Could you imagine? Like, fuck this. They should just drop her. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god. That's the best of it. I love that video. Oh my god, I love that video. So, what is the deal? Like, why is that happening? She should sue for like I know they're there, like that's their job and everything to help people, but that's their job. It's like they did their job is to help you. Yes, that's nice and altruistic, but they get paid for it, right? They have insurance for stuff like that. Like, that's insane. Like that's like you're on a mountain, like you're climbing Mount Everest and you get caught in the mountain in a snowstorm, and they come and to rescue you, and they basically just take a fire extinguisher or something, and then like you become like a giant icicle, and they leave, or like is that a good idea? No, it says like, or like they throw water on you because like that's the cure, and then you freeze to death, or some retarded thing like that. That's what it looks. It's just what the hell? What if that's what happens when you use a helicopter to rescue people on that thing all the time and no one's figured it out, and in that video is what they use to I don't know, to like solve the problem. Like what? Like it's like well, all right, people now know that if you need to be rescued via helicopter and airlifted, that can happen. What I don't understand is they couldn't get anywhere close to the ground to just like put her into the helicopter. Why was that necessary? It's a flat surface. You saw that. It's so weird. It's like they also clipped her into the thing, and there was like paramedics and like there was some team. Like it was like, how did that happen? It's weird. It seems like incompetence like at the highest level. But I don't know. No, it's fine, I guess. It's fine. I never would have bet an openly gay rapper would become the biggest artist in hip hop. Unless she was a boss bitch lesbian. Like, yeah, suck my pussy. Yeah, suck my pussy. Yeah, girl, just like get it down there. Scissor in me. Scissor in me. Yeah. I don't know, something like that. I just never would think that a guy like Lil Nas X would be the guy and be on the Grammys and have this thing where he's just like simulating sex with men in the rap game and be. It's like Biggie's here and then there's Lil Nas X. Like that could be a thing. Like what? Like it's crazy. I know the music industry is run by gay Jewish white men, but they also are very like the rap industry allows for homophobia in lyrics still, which is weird. So it's like funny that he's the number one. It's a very masculine thing, and not to say that homosexuality negates that. It's just all things being equal. I've never seen someone like Lil Nas X become this popular. It's really good, I guess. Popular, great. So, in commemoration for that, I have the new DWA hoodie, Gay is the New Chocolate, signed by Lil Nas X himself on behalf of DWA, available. You can get it through the Patreon subscription. You sign up today, Patreon, BenBen, whatever, that address right there. And monthly subscription, I'm going to build more content, differentiating content, all this stuff for the website. And yeah, I'm going to send you a signed Lil Nas hoodie. So that's pretty cool, I think. I thought that maybe Lil Nas could drop the X at his, Lil Nas X as it's like the Facebook. And I thought it was a little superfluous. And he said, do you want me to sign them or not? I'm like, yes, please. So, sorry, Lil Nas X. Thank you very much for signing them. We really, really appreciate it. Speaking of which, I didn't bring this up with Lil Nas X when we talked about the collaboration, but the baby has been accused of being anti-gay and homophobic at a concert. What was it? It's like one of the blow up too loud concert or something. I don't know. He said right before the show, if you didn't show up today, like on the stage, if you didn't show up today with HIV or AIDS or any of the deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in like 2 or 3 weeks, then put your cell phone lighters up. Yeah. Fellas, if you ain't sucking D, no, it's probably said dick. Yeah, why would he? If you ain't sucking dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone lighter up. Yeah. Like, okay, it's weird. Like, he's been ridiculed for this and been forced to apologize like numerous times. I don't quite understand why, because there's like faggot this, faggot that in rap still. Like Matt Damon apologizing for saying faggot because his daughter on a Zoom call said, hey, Dad, I don't appreciate you saying that anymore. It really bothers me. Like, sorry, I stopped saying faggot, and then admitting it on his press tour for a movie about Amanda Knox's story that Amanda Knox is getting no money from. Anyway, I digress. Really fucked up, isn't it? Like Amanda Knox is like poor. She's like struggling. She has no syndication, no rights to any of it. She's a public figure. She's fucked right now. All she has, like, it's like not, in order to make, the best thing she has is this story that she's hoping will profit off at some point in the future, and she's a people up. Anyway, I digress. Going back into it, all the way back in, the baby is like Tupac was not a thug. Tupac went to ballet school. I don't know any guy, any Crip or like Blood that like went to ballet school and then got hard. It's a game. It's a character. Being homophobic or whatever you think that is, like, I'm not into like guys. I'm a hardcore or whatever. Like, that's like part of his jam. Like, it's not like, don't like what do you want him to be? Like his fans aren't going to do anything. Like, and Lil Nas X wouldn't care about this. It's kind of like, I don't know. I think it's, I feel bad for guys like this. The girls from the Red Scare podcast talked about this topic. I love the Red Scare podcast. You watch it, they're fantastic. They talked about Tariq Nasheed's Buck Breaking documentary, and they referenced Lil Nas X and DaBaby. Tariq Nasheed, I think, is not the brightest bulb in the tanning bed. I actually had a fight with him on Twitter a couple of years ago. There's some stupid thing he said. It's all about race constantly. But buck breaking, if you don't know, is when essentially a slave master will sexually abuse or embarrass a slave in front of others to show power and dominance. And one of the things that it's a subtle insinuation or it's blatant, depending on how you wish to interpret it. It's weird. You're not really sure what he's saying. He doesn't explicitly say this, but in the documentary. But essentially, I'm gonna make you rich. The cultural affectations of rap music are X, Y, and Z. You know, like very masculine, hardcore, very like money, superficially derived things, cars, hoes. And then you're gonna add like also dick now. And so if you want to keep the Lambo and all the shit and the money and be successful and stay on the record label that we control and all the whole industry we control, you have to start being pro LGBTQ and push this shit. He basically insinuates that there's gonna be there's like a forced like embrace of homosexual idealism. It's going to be pressed upon the African American community through the rap industry. It's going to be slow, and that maybe Lil Nas X is like a precursor to that. I don't know that that's really legitimate at all. Like everything about selling drugs and guns and hoes and blah blah blah. It's just so like bro stuff. It's not necessarily LGBTQ, but like to like push LGBTQ or anti-LGBTQ, but to push. You obviously you can have Lil Nas X and you can have Lil Boosie. Like Lil Boosie's not gonna say, or Boosie Badass. Lil Boosie Badass, Kicking Clouds is one of my favorite songs. You can have both those ideals of like hardcore masculinity that isn't bigoted. It's just, I'm not about that life, right? I'm not about that life. I hit her where she do to make her booty fat, but I'm not gonna hit him where he do to make his booty fat. Nor will I allow them to hit my booty where I do to make my booty fat. Not gonna do that. It's not my jam. But he respects the thing. He, I think in an interview for, what is it? What's that like rap, like hip hop? Anyway, in his interview he talks about like, you know, he's from the prison system, but you've been to it. Like no one, like gay people don't have names and blah, blah, like, well, that's kind of very homophobic, but like completely separate thing from society that we live in. But he's basically talking about like, I respect the gay community. I don't agree with everything, but I have nothing against them, despite my being in around things that are very like, you know, anti-LGBTQ, which is, I think, a very healthy mindset to have. But one of the things culturally that you could take away, and I think this is important, especially when it comes to like critical race theory in school, like all this stuff that people talk about. Who are the customers for like Lil Nas X or for anyone in general? There's these celebrities do affect children. And one of the things I thought that might be troubling is the conflation of gender equality, transsexualism, and sexual liberation. Like, the act of sex and sexual preference is conflated with gender equality. That is like dangerous because it takes elements that questions the age-appropriate nature of like content and kind of puts that into the same thing as this is people do this and it's okay if they do this, but kids don't know that yet, that people even do that, but it's like, well, we want to be pro LGBTQ at the kindergarten level. It's like, well, what does that entail? A sexual act is very like adult. Like you can love someone that's like a boy. Well, what does that mean? Well, he could suck your penis. Well, it's like it's like, it's so, that's the problem. Like, it's like this weird, like, okay, what is that? Just imagine like homosexual sex ed at high school being kind of like interesting and funny at the same, like, okay, well, which sex ed did you take? I took gay sex ed. Why? Well, I'm straight, so I know all that stuff. So I'm taking gay sex ed because I want to get like, understanding. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I learned a lot. It's like, whoa. Not my jam, but interesting. Like it's just funny. But you take that idea of like gender equality and you start to break it down into some sort of like sociological ideology or sociological affectation. Like, what does that entail specifically? Well, one of the biggest parts of that is sexual expression, which kids don't quite understand, nor should they. They're not sexually developed yet. This is like prepubescent education on children to make sure that they don't end up growing up to be bigoted, which is weird. It's like, is that really healthy? Like, it's very strange. So in that regard, I will say that Tariq Nasheed, through some sort of proxy, there's something to be said there about like forced, you create a market, you prop people in the market, and then they become kind of slaves to the, like, you give them money and then like all of a sudden they start to censor themselves and say, okay, well, what do I have to do to make sure that I can make my Maserati payment? And 10 years ago, they were living at their mom's house in the basement, like going to a studio with 10 other people and doing like 30-second like splits to be on each other's tracks to pay for the studio time. Like, that's like, of course, you start to become what you hate. And like, success is not about like being original eventually, because no individual has a market cap above the industry. And the industry has means and measures and ends. So you might create a market for yourself, but the real money is adhering to the industry itself and becoming a player in the game. And that's the unfortunate reality of it. The whole precept of like work hard and be OG, it's like, yeah, sure. It's not all about hard work though. Hard work gets you a point to be like, have the ability, the traction to be part of this like, system. But the system is controlled by very powerful levels. And eventually you kind of like sell out by proxy. Like, in order to stay here, which is the purpose of me doing it from the beginning, when no one cared about me, I could be myself and do my own thing and be original because that's the only way to get there. But then once you're there, you have to start pulling back to stay there. And then you think, well, Jesus, why would I go back to the other thing? The whole point was so that I could like pay for my house, sort of, and be me. So now the new game is I have to play the game according to the people that I work for to stay here so I can like enjoy the Ferraris and the private jets. And is that like, but the danger, I think, is like the industry of like, the industry itself is like, yeah, it starts to become like the game becomes very, very dangerous. What are you willing to give up to say for the sake of like what is inherently good, progressive, blah 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 blah? What are all these ends just about being progressive and utopian and pushing equality, or is it about control at any degree at the higher levels of corporatism and kind of groupthink? tribalism? Is there something there that is like more nefarious than meets the eye in terms of just like controlling groups? Like, it's like the amount of money that's pushed into, like racist agenda, blah 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 blah, is interesting as a system of like billions of dollars of anti-racism, pro BLM stuff, and at the same time you have the rap industry, which perpetuates it like an idea of living that's very antithetical to that end. It's like very like like push dope, make money, like very like, is that the way you want kids to like learn about business and stuff like that? Is like how you made it as a hustler on the street. It's like, it's kind of cool to hear. It's fun. It's exciting, but it's like the same thing over and over again. And it perpetuates this system of, I don't know. Back. Where was I? Yeah, so maybe all the rappers will just be gay. Like, that's the new game. It's like, all right, you want to be a rapper? You want to make that money? Okay, cool. Now you have to talk about like Lil Nas X shit. You just have to go hard. So what's the difference? It's all a game. Ferraris, like I push weight, same stuff. Like I push weight, I push dick now. Whatever it is, it's fine. It's all the same. If that's what the industry wants, that's what you're going to do. Just maybe like don't like be explicit about the sexual acts with kids at like 5 years old. Like that's because you don't talk about sex stuff that's heterosexual at 5 years old, right? You know what I mean? Like it's just like that. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't need to say, well, you have to tell them about it because they need to know about LGBTQ stuff. Well, yeah, but like don't need to know about the sex acts. Like that you can wait, and then their parents can give them a book and pray to God they don't talk about it. They just read it from themselves and understand. I remember mom gave me a book, and I was like, Mom, I do this already. I do this. Fucking the pillows. I fuck pillows too. I fuck all those. Mom, do you see the stains? I do it. Raised by a single mom. It's gotta have been hard for her. I mean, yeah. And the news, I've seen this like Biden's, the press is pushing, like, I don't know, like they're pushing Biden's like the booster shot guru. Like, I don't think that Biden now is, I don't know, like the guy that should be pushed for anything. He's such a klutz and so old. He's like the worst, like if you wanted to sell like an action movie and you wanted to like cast a lead, you wouldn't cast Biden. He's like puts you to sleep. Like if you want people to get the booster shot, you don't want an octogenarian with like dementia that has his ass wiped by the Secret Service every day, who takes naps during the work week in the afternoon to be the guy. You don't want that. You want like, they should pay Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to pump the booster shot. Like do like some booster shot subliminal messaging. Like he's at his gym lifting. He's like, one of the things that always helps me get pumped for movies is my work ethic, my confidence, and my trust in big government. I wouldn't be where I am today without my belief in Pfizer. Booster shot. Boom. Done. Subliminal messaging. Done. Double entendre. That doesn't make any sense. But that would work. More people would get the booster shot. If that's the goal, it would make way more sense. Give him 25 million. Who cares? You just stopped Afghanistan, right? I mean, $300 million a day. You got some surplus. Why not? It's just... The other thing I wanted to talk about was... I don't like Uber Eats. They suck. Their customer service sucks. I love Postmates before they were bought by Uber. I forgot that happened. I forgot that it happened a few weeks ago. I ordered a meal through Uber Eats, saying what the hell. It was like literally like right next door to me. I had it delivered. Don't know why I did that. I could just walk there, more or less. And it would have been healthier and burn out the calories. And the food never arrived. They said that it did, and I never got my money back, even though I complained. It was fucking weird. Like weird. So I remembered that and said, oh, well, I'm going to use Postmates, not knowing that Uber Eats bought Postmates. So this time, back to Postmates per usual. Order wings at 12:30 at night. Boom, some chili fries, and then maybe a burger. Don't judge me. And I don't hear anything. 1:30 passes, an hour later, I call. Customer service says, oh, Well, your order's still on its way. See, through this thing with the deliveries through the restaurant, so I can't see where the guy is. I don't see the it's just tracking. Like it's been, it will arrive soon, and it even gives you an option to say, has it arrived? Like as if they don't know. And she says, nope, it's still it just finished the meal. The meal was just prepared and it was just out the door. So wait some more. I call it 2:00 now, 2:10, 2:20 in the morning. I ordered at 12:30. And they say, oh, well, it was delivered at 1:25. Did you not get it? I'm like, this is the second time I've called. What are you serious? No, that's when I called. They said it left the restaurant at 1:25 or 1:23. Like, oh no, it was delivered. You sure? Did they call you? I'm like, no one called me. It's like they can drive through. Like the drivers know that they'll get paid. And it'll look like it's delivered as long as they're close to your house. They drive by, eating my chili fries and my burger, and then he clicks completed, and he smiles and laughs. It says, fuck you to my face through the house. I'm not looking at him. I don't know he's there, but he knows that he was there, and he knows that he got away with something. And he gets like a tip that's automatic or something. Fuck him, man. It's worse. So this is what happened. When I called the second time, I said, okay, well, it didn't, so what do I do now? It didn't arrive. Like, oh, well, we don't actually, like, we have to give you a number to call Uber. I'm like, what? So this is like a proxy customer support? It's so weird. I call the number. It's Uber. Guess what? 2:30 in the morning, they're not there. Wonderful. Of course. So I go through the receipts through the Uber app. Even though I use Postmates, it shows it in Uber as completed. I go to like the order, help, submit, ticket. The next day I'm refunded at 1:30 in the afternoon. What the fuck, dude? That is the worst customer service I have ever seen. Worst customer service. I mean, fuck. So when you go big, it by the way, the other thing that Postmates did that I didn't like was they based their tips off of the delivery fee plus the food. So they would like at first not give you a percentage. They would give the percentages would be based off the delivery fee inclusive of the food itself. So you'd be paying a percentage of the order that's inclusive of Postmates fee, which makes no sense. Not that like I think tips should be based off the amount that you purchase. Like you shouldn't tip for wine, for example, but like still, it's like weird, very weird. I don't mean not to, it's just so you know, like generally, say you have a $200 bill and then you have a $100 bottle of wine, so your bill's $300. You tip 10, 15, 20%, whatever, generally speaking, based off the $200, not off the $3. It's a common mistake. Like the markup on the wines, a lot. Like you buy a $100 bottle of wine, you could probably buy that bottle of wine at a store for $20. You don't tip for that. That's not inclusive of the total, generally speaking. Most people don't even do that. They're like, oh, I don't care. Your nice night out, last thing you want to do when you're feeling like, yeah, I'm balling, is you want to feel like a cheapskate and like do that. I don't know. So I get it. But that's generally the gist of it. I just never liked that from Postmates. And I don't like that Uber, big company, doesn't want to pay for proper customer support, so they outsource it to a third party that can't even help you. That when you actually need help, they say, oh, well, you got to call Uber. So who the fuck are you? How did I get connected to you? I'm in the app. Bullshit. Does Uber have a PO box? Can I send them a number, like the order, and help me? I'll just get it in the mail 2 weeks later. Maybe they'll send me like something through Western Union, like on horseback. It's like, here's your receipt, sir. Thank you. Did the stork come back with your percentage difference? I'm like, what? Well, we use owls for the interest between when you. I'm like, I don't fucking say, but it's just like, what am I doing, dude? Like, what is this? Bigger. And that's why I think like smaller local players will always have an edge. Like if you want to disrupt a major business, undercut them in your area, offer a premium service that's cheaper and delivery, and you will beat them. They'll just buy you out. This could happen over and over again. Like if you have enough money, say like $100,000 to start with, do some advertising, like go on major highways at like rush hour and bumper to bumper traffic, put up a board that says like, Postmates cost X. Are you hungry? Need dinner? Too tired to cook? Postmates delivery is X. We're like half the price. Why not? And you outsource that work to maybe friends of yours that are Uber drivers or something like that. You tell them to take a break off Uber or something like that from their shift, or in between shifts, deliver food on the, I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe you just use delivery drivers. I don't know. Something. Maybe you have your own ride sharing service. So you have both. So drivers are already on the road. Why not? When Uber started, their incentive to get drivers was paying, or the incentive for drivers to join was $20 per hour, working from 8 p.m. to 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Then all these services started popping up around cities all around the country that would compete with Uber and push them out by offering the same amount of money or more. Uber stopped that program once they got drivers. And so companies saw this and took market share from Uber in different cities by creating their own ride-sharing service. And it's just, you have to advertise. You have to know you exist, and people are willing to do that. Some of the fees I've seen, like the lightning fees or whatever for Uber, are insane, where black cars are more like affordable than a regular car. So, something to think about. Oh yeah. I had this idea of, so last year I bet on football. I got a 28% ROI after week 3. I didn't bet the first 2 weeks, didn't think about it. Then I started applying Kelly criterion to NFL based on, like, I used to love statistics and like analysis of sports stats. I would like play Madden, play franchise mode, but not actually play the game, simulate them, and just work on the stats, like getting the best value in trades and salary cap stuff. That was fun to me. The games themselves, based on the algorithm, how easy it was to win, didn't matter as much. So also, there's like predilections to how you want to play. You could like win with any team, or like having a quarterback that can run around the field and just move around and throw Hail Mary. It's very fake. So I thought, like, you know how like the NFL has like players that get slighted by their college, and so they say the name of their high school instead. I thought it would be funny if like some NFL players on primetime games were like, state their name, position, university, and then like those guys that do that, and then like they go like lower and lower and lower, like Eric Davis, quarterback, Westlake pre-K, or maybe his pre-K fucked him over. Maybe like he's like John Smith, defensive end, mama. Something like that would be funny. I'm surprised no one's done that yet. I mean, like, this, how do you possibly take it seriously? You know, I don't think University of Miami will be offended if you're just like one time, maybe it's Mother's Day weekend. Why not? Right? Be kind of funny. Also, like, athletes take selfies with fans all the time. I think it would be funny if I would take selfie. Like, hey, BenBen, can I take a selfie with you? Of course you can. I'd use my phone. The camera's facing the other way. The flash goes off. I'm like, all right, see you later, and I walk off. That would be funny. And then I come back around and help them. Like, of course, let me do it right. But that would be funny. Or sometimes I don't come back around. I'm like, sorry, nope. If I don't like them, they're really aggressive in the beginning, I say, sure, use my own phone and walk away. You know, that would be fun. I don't know. Speaking of walking away and never coming back, Brian Laundrie. Brian Laundrie would be drafted number 1 in a professional hide-and-go-seek league. I mean, if anyone could find him. Where is he? This guy is like walked into the swamps in Florida and never came back. DB Cooper, Jimmy Hoffa, move over. This guy's the strangest thing ever. Like, no previous criminal history. He's not a serial murderer. Maybe he's bipolar. It's very unclear. Like, it's very like strange to be with a girl, in my opinion, to like have relationships, have a girlfriend, have a fiance. You get into a fight that's physical. You're driving, you hit her, she hits you. It's kind of hard. Also, the one thing I'll say is, I watched the video of Brian Laundrie and his girlfriend, and like there was like differentiating reports. Someone said she was hitting him while he was driving. It's kind of hard to hit a girl while you're driving, and like, I'm just saying, it's possible that he was doing that, but like, it also seems like she was neither one of them wanted to press charges against the other. That was the point. So it was like, interesting. That relationship got to a point where it escalated to him murdering her or killing her accidentally and then dumping her body off is crazy. Crazy. It's probably that's what happened. I'm just like, God, it's like, what the fuck could like, to what, like, what's the end game? Right? Like, what is that? What's the point of this anger to act on? Like, what is the end result? This is your fiance. You've decided to, like, leave Florida and go backpacking with her, and then you decide to murder her? Like, it's weird. Like, to what end? Like a fight at any one point? Just break up with her and move on. To murder her? Did she cheat on you with a hitchhiker? Like, what did she do? Was like that guy that climbs mountains, like, with like no, what's his name? No ropes. Was he around? She gave him a blowjob. She was really into him, and then, like, I don't know, that upset you. Like, what is the thing, like, when you're like, I can see, like, living with someone and becoming really annoyed with them, like a roommate, and, like, saying, "Fuck this, I hate you. I'm leaving here. I can't stand you anymore." Or, like, you move in with someone you think you like and you're like, can't stand. But to murder them, like, because they're that annoying, because they don't, like, I don't know, take out the trash all the time, or, like, keep the kitchen cabinets open, and they're, like, fake, conversion van. It's just weird. I think they had 2 cars because he drove home and her car was found in Wyoming. It's a very sad story. 22 years old. He's been charged with unauthorized, Gabby's 22. Sorry, that's sad. Like, this guy's a piece of shit if this is what happened. Weird, crazy, mentally ill, probably something wrong. Psychological craziness. 22 years old. She dies. Homicide. How she died specifically has not been disclosed by the coroner's office. Brian Laundrie has not been charged with murder, which I think is interesting. He's been charged with unauthorized use of a credit card, a federal crime. I think this was designed to enable the authorities to flag his password and use their manpower to find him. Because I guess they don't have enough to charge him with murder yet, like a grand jury indictment. They don't have enough to go there. His cell phone records, if they're not showing him, if they haven't been disclosed by AT&T or the carrier, I'd be very surprised by now. But sometimes it takes months. But in, like, these investigations involving possibly felony murder, like, that's strange. But then again, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is that they don't have, because, like, if his cell phone records show him near her remains, like where she was, where her body was found in Wyoming, over murder charge. So the fact that it hasn't happened makes me think, what if he wasn't there? What if his cell phone shows him somewhere else at the exact same time that her cell phone was, like, further away, like miles and miles away? That's weird. Like, how do you charge him with murder? That's interesting. Like, if that's all there is, he could be charged. He wouldn't have to run away and get a bond and bond for the credit card thing, and then, it's not probably get probation for that. So it seems very it's weird. What did he tell his parents when he walked off into a swamp? This thing is gonna be so fucking boring if he's not found. No trial. Like, that's, like, the worst murder there is. Like, he went into the swamps to have some Harry Carey by alligator. Like, what is that? Like, if the cops stopped OJ's white Bronco on the highway and they found a mannequin of a black guy that resembled OJ at the wheel, we never hear from OJ again. That would suck. The trial's where the juice was, not the murder, the double murder in that case. People forget. Murder is boring without a trial. It's almost selfish of the murderer to kill and disappear. There's no closure. We don't get Nancy Grace scowling on TV about how evil this person is and how they should rot in hell and all these, like, very subjective, superlative, like pejoratives at the TV, and that have nothing to do with any, like, legal rhetoric or anything, but, like, mens rea and scienter. But it's just, like, great for TV. I mean, if it's just a funeral, who the fuck cares? I say skip the funeral, have a party. The primary suspect, Brian Laundrie, is MIA. After a month, fuck it. It's the only way you're going to get closure. Close on a party. Party tents, open bar. Remember the good times with Gabby and her vlogging skills, hiking prowess, multi-talented girl. Alternatively, in order to combat missing white woman syndrome, that is the
sociological reality that white women missing are reported more than black women and women of color, minorities. Perhaps we should just forget about Gabby altogether so we can even the playing field. You choose. Up to you how you want to do it. Whatever makes you feel good that you're doing the right thing in terms of your, sense of equality and whatever. But yeah, this is, yeah. And speaking of equality, in Texas, people have talked about this. They've called this the abortion ban in Texas. There's an abortion ban. And I'm in Texas, and I looked into it, and it's not really that. It's more that the protections for the right to abort, or the procedure itself, is now not being protected by the government. And you can be sued. There's no criminal charges or anything like that. You can be sued once the cardiac activity is detectable. So abortions after 6 weeks, that's what they say. But there's been discrepancies as whether this is real and legitimate. Around 6 weeks, law allows individuals to bring civil lawsuits. Individuals, civil, not the government, not Texas, against individuals that are going to trying to seek an abortion or having an abortion. They are individuals that find out about it, or like, I don't understand how this even works. Like, if that early on in the process, for some people, no one's going to know you got an abortion. The first 3 months is very possible you get it's weird. Like, your best friend that you confide in, I'm having an abortion, you just lie to people, say you had a miscarriage. I'm just saying it's strange. But basically, anyone that provides the abortion or is found to have aided or abetted can be sued by a private citizen in Texas, or I guess maybe anywhere. The Texas abortion law is not really a ban as much as it is dropping state protections. Anyone who successfully sues can make at least $10,000. So you can sue as a private citizen the doctor that is suspected of aiding and abetting an abortionist. But what does that mean? Like, aiding and abetting. The abortion clinic? If I just work there, am I aiding and abetting? Can you sue the nurses? What does aiding and abetting mean? Like, what about the parking lot attendant at the hospital? Or the medical center where the abortions are performed? Is that possible? If they knew about it, are they technically aiding and abetting? Aiding and abetting is very broad in criminal law. What the fuck was that? So, storm outside. So yeah, it's I don't know. Like, can I sue the father because he aided and abetted in the abortion? Like, technically, his penis is a priori art. Like his penis knew. He and his penis were aware of what the repercussions could be from not pulling out in time. Can I sue the father? Why not? He knew. He was aware of the repercussions. Especially in Texas. It's just crazy. I feel like I have to close one of the windows. I keep the windows open so the cats can go inside and outside. And you hear that? If you can hear it, the rain's pouring. I'm supposed to go to the gym after this. Fuck. Yeah. Fucking cats. It's gonna like pour into the living room. Okay. I'll get to it in a second. I'll leave. This is a good story. Danish artist Jens Hanning was given $84K by a Danish museum to recreate an art piece involving like banknotes, denoting like the idea of like inequality of pay. So what Hanning decided to do is take the money and then send his artwork to the museum in Denmark or wherever. And he did so. They opened up the mail and took out his frames to an empty canvas. He titled the empty canvases, "Take the Money and Run." And he argues that the breach of contract with the museum, which they're suing for the right to get the money back, is part of the art piece itself. I guess anti-capitalism, anti-corporatism or whatever, which I think is brilliant and interesting. And I don't know if it'll work because they commissioned him for a specific recreation of a specific art piece. So his interpretation of that, while it may be part of the same thematic or motif. It's not specifically what they commissioned him to do. This is like a slightly separate thing, which I think is lovely. He could have done anything. He could have, like, I'm sure it wouldn't cost him much to have just recreated what he did before. And like of the 84,000, let's say 1/100th of it, he could have like banknotes on like a portrait or some canvas, however he wanted to, whatever. Like, how much is this really going to cost? Like, not a lot of money, right? So it could be a miscommunication, a settlement deal. Like, basically, the point is, I love it. It's great. Good for him. Sign up for the BenBen Patreon down below. Sign up. We have new content on there. Awesome stuff. And I will see you guys next week. Storm. Stay dry. All right. See you guys later.